Hey everybody, it's Jessica DeMassa with WTF Health. What's the future health? I am talking to the who's who of health tech and healthcare innovation, and today I'm catching up with an old friend here at Vive, Unity Stoakes. He is the co-founder and president of StartUp Health. Hey!
Hey, how are you? It's so great to be here.
It is so great to be here.
Seeing people in real life together and seeing you, I'm so happy.
Seriously, and I was looking back, I don't think I've interviewed you for 4 years. So it has been a
years.
long time. So we need to get everybody up to speed on what is happening in Startup Health world, because you guys have come a long way. So Startup Health, you got a fund now, you got the festival, you got everything. But tell us everything.
So since 2011, we've been on a mission to achieve what we call global health moonshots. We have been investing in early stage digital health tech companies really for the past decade. And actually on Friday, just a couple days ago, we made our 400th investment.
Oh, wow.
So we invest at early stage. We have a platform approach, much like an accelerator for health that never ends. So it's not a 12-week program. We keep you forever.
It's true.
Until you're successful. Because as you know, it takes so many years in health or healthcare to really break out. So we have a whole platform and community to really help the companies scale. But our goal is one about impact. We're trying to solve some of the world's largest health challenges. In fact, yesterday we just announced 2 new dedicated health moonshots, one for type 1 diabetes called the Diabetes Moonshot, and one for Alzheimer's called the Alzheimer's Moonshot.
How many moonshots is this now, Unity? There's a lot of them.
14.
14 moonshots.
Yeah. So, we think about these as there's so many things that need to be solved and tackled. Access to care, cost to zero, reinventing the business models, women's health,
I was just going to say.
children's health, mental health. 2 years ago, right at the beginning of the pandemic, after our last Startup Health Festival, we launched the Pandemic Response Moonshot.
Okay.
That was our last one, and it's just been a whirlwind 2 years, as we all know. And to give you a little sense, it's in a lot of ways been an extraordinary moment for this emerging ecosystem of health transformers, of entrepreneurs, because the customers started to show up.
Absolutely.
The patients started using these new telehealth platforms and virtual care platforms. And as you've seen and know, the world has changed dramatically. So a lot of the things we've been talking about for 10 years and hoping to happen has started to come to fruition in terms of the market.
Absolutely, and I would love to pick your brain on that a little bit, because I mean, like you just said, all of a sudden customers are showing up, patients are showing up, investment is showing up in a big way in this health tech space, and like you said, you've been around for 10 years more watching this space. So I mean, and there's talk of bubble again. What do you think? Bubble? Are we in a bubble or no?
It's interesting. We've been tracking the funding data with something called Startup Health Insights for a decade now. And 10 years ago, it was about $1 billion a year coming into digital health and health tech. And the same question would come up pretty much all the time.
Always.
Is it a bubble? There's
bubble.
$1 billion coming in. And we're like, $1 billion? We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar market. And when you look globally, it's probably a $10 to $13 trillion market today. So we believe, there was about $40 billion of early stage digital health investment globally in the last year. That's a lot of capital.
Yeah.
So we have seen the valuations rise up. We've got Devoted Health in our portfolio, CityBlock in our portfolio, Verta Health, Cala Health, and these are now very, very valuable companies. I don't think we're approaching a bubble. Here's why. I think health is universal.
Okay.
Again, multi-trillion-dollar market, and we're just at the early phases still of innovation really making its way into the real market.
Okay.
So, I do think there's a lot of important questions. Are we seeing the outcomes yet? Are we seeing the impact yet? Are we seeing things really change? And I still think a lot of work needs to be done.
Okay.
There's a lot of point solutions, there's a lot of features, there's a lot of stuff. But, I came out of the internet tech world of the 90s, and there was a whole decade where we had to figure out how to get modems into this thing called a personal computer. Then we needed to get personal computers in people's homes so that we could then have this thing called AOL to dial up on. And
you needed to be in those chat rooms.
We needed those chat rooms, which are pretty cool. So I think we're really I think Livongo going public.
Yeah, that was
like Netscape 1994. Okay? There's another 25 years of extraordinary creation.
Cool.
The Googles, the Facebooks, the iPhones, the lifts, all these extraordinary innovations that have happened since Netflix.
Okay.
And I think Livongo, Amwell, some of these players, Amwell, I just interviewed Roy Schoenberg. It took him 16, 17 years to get to that point.
Which is amazing.
And in some ways, they're just getting started.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a lot of growth. We will see a lot of filtering out.
Yeah, consolidation is the name of the game this year.
And I think not many of these companies will get gobbled up. They won't survive. They'll pivot.
Yeah.
They'll need more capital. The valuations may change. But I don't think it's a bubble.
Okay. I've been seeing, I feel like a lot of the big rounds obviously go for like a series B, C, D, E. I've even seen a couple Fs this year. Are you guys still seeing early stage startups emerge the way that you were before, or has that slowed down a little bit? Are you guys still being approached by those seed and pre-series A companies that want to come into startup health?
I think there is still a tremendous funding gap at the early stage.
Okay.
And when I say early, I mean super early.
Like
pre-seed and even seed.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity and funds still focused on later stages. And it's relatively easy, I shouldn't say easy because it's never easy, but at the B round, C rounds, D rounds later where things have been de-risked.
Yeah, for sure.
But still, there's a whole generation of extraordinary innovation and innovators and what we would call health transformers that haven't been given a chance yet.
Yeah.
So we still need to rally some of that capital, that $40 billion. We need to break more off for that early stage. And that's what we're trying to focus on.
Yeah.
But we're not the big bankroll. We need a lot of partners coming in. We need a lot of capital coming in. And I think there's a lot of investment opportunity there.
Okay, and what are you guys doing with the 400 companies you've invested in? Because that's a staggering number. So I know you guys you have a reputation of helping people along, you're helping guide these startups, helping them meet other people. So in terms of how that's going, how are you still continuing to provide that mentorship piece?
Well, when we first launched a decade ago, the idea was it's going to be a 3-year academy. And then 3 years came and went. And
they're
we're
like, well.
it needs to be longer.
Lifelong learners now.
It really needs to be long term. And so what we do is we organize the portfolio around these moonshot themes. And some companies might be focused on multiple moonshots, but we think that, a moonshot, when you organize a global army of health transformers, it's really meant to symbolically say, hey, we're marching towards the same macro goal,
right,
the same mission. So what we do is we organize them and then support them in systemic ways that help them through that journey.
Yeah.
Whether that's customer development, whether that's fundraising through multiple stages of growth, whether that's creating the community. And I think this is really fundamental because as an entrepreneur, the journey is so long and hard.
Yeah,
and
especially in healthcare.
In healthcare, if you're alone, there's too many opportunities to quit.
Yeah. That's true.
When there's a community around, an ecosystem around, you're less likely to quit when you're down and make it through those dips, those valleys of death we know about. And so to do that as a group is just helps you navigate those challenges.
It's funny because I've referred so many startups to you, and of them, one of the things that I hear the most about the value of startup health is how they can help one another in terms of CEO to CEO counseling. That's a real benefit that people point out to me.
Yeah, we launched something I'm really proud of called Startup Health Circles, and it's forums of 10 CEOs that sit around a virtual
I think
circle.
that's what I think that's the thing that I keep getting
Yeah.
rave reviews about.
And every month they get together and they become a small little internal advisory board, if you will, of other entrepreneurs that are going through the same struggle, the same day-to-day challenges. And to have that support network is invaluable. That community of fellow peers, of understanding really what's going on is, I think, invaluable.
All right, last thing for you, Unity. What do we expect from Startup Health this year? We're looking ahead. We're in oh my God, almost the end of Q1 here. I mean, what's going on next? And then will Startup Health Festival be back in JP Morgan next year? That's like the big question.
We are doing the Startup Health Festival twice this year, right here where we are at Vive.
Yep.
First time in Miami Beach, so grateful to be here and grateful to see you.
Thank you.
But we're also going to do it at Health in November in Las Vegas. So hope all of you join us there. And then I'm hoping we can come back to JP Morgan and be here together. And so let's take the Startup Health Festival on a world tour and city after city and just really focus on getting back together in real life together.
Awesome. Well, it's so good to catch up with you always. I feel so lucky to run into you whenever I do, and it's great to hear what you're doing.
You made my day, just seeing your smile, seeing you, and your amazing questions and thought leadership in the space is inspiring. Thank you.
Oh my God, thank you. All right, Unity Stoakes from Startup Health, checking in with me here at Vive. Definitely check out Startup Health. Look at their website. Come join us at Festival because it's a fun time, fun time. I'm Jessica DeMassa, and for more interviews with the people who are changing the way that we do healthcare, head on over to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/WTF Health. Talk to you soon. Thanks again, Unity.